Well, hi everyone. My name is Kallista, or most of you may know me by Callie. Anyway, I like to think I can create a little chill environment in here, so thanks for sticking around. And I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that most of you probably don't remember what you had to eat for lunch last Monday, or maybe dinner on Thursday a couple weeks ago. Most of us go through our life fueling our bodies with whatever we deem available and desirable at the time. Burgers, granola bars, you name it. It is ingrained in our human nature to seek out these food and other resources to keep all of our internal systems running smoothly. This is one of the reasons why I find illnesses such as anorexia nervosa so fascinating. The human brain has actually evolved an ability to overpower all of our other natural instincts and convince the rest of our body to defy everything evolution has taught it just through the simple deprivation of the chemical energy it needs to survive. This voice takes up residence in the brains of many individuals suffering from anorexia and will scold you for doing exactly what you are biologically programmed to do. This loud and obnoxious voice was actually given a name in my household, and his name is Ed. Ed will remind you what you had to eat for lunch last Monday and dinner last Thursday with so much detail that he might as well be constructing a graphic novel replay of every cracker and crumb that has ever crossed your lips. Not only is Ed just plain annoying to be co-inhabitating with, but he is also a serial killer. Yep, you heard me right. Ed is the new Ted Bundy. Every 1 in 10 individuals suffering from anorexia will fall victim to Ed's killing spree. So, why is anorexia still one of the least talked about mental illnesses to date? It is a disease that has been plagued by more than just a brutal sounding name. This silent, deadly, and debilitating mental illness is still seen in the eyes of many as a choice of the individual who is suffering. However, I would definitely not be the first survivor to tell you that I did not invite Ed into my life with open arms. He has been a parasite among women in my family for over 3 generations and was already destined to become intertwined into being a part of my upbringing. I've been scared to share with others the details regarding the boundaries Ed has built up about what food I'm actually allowed to put into my body. Scared out of facing shame, ridicule, and a misunderstanding, because society still sees this topic as rather taboo. A society that just happens to favor white, blonde, skinny individuals. Needless to say, my so-called illness was never taken very seriously. And I believe that it is important to recognize that there is a significant amount of privilege associated with having an eating disorder, as numerous studies have indicated that they are very isolated to mainly Western individualistic cultures. I've never had a shortage of high-quality, healthy, fresh food available for me to just simply decline. Willpower was actually seen as a desirable trait in my household, and I was given praise for not gorging on dessert right before dinner. That being said, mental illness itself is never desirable, but I can stand here today and share these struggles about food with you, but actually having food available for me to eat has never been one of them. It's important to recognize that the color of my skin has also undoubtedly had a role in the way I've received treatment. People of color are substantially less likely to be diagnosed with a mental illness than a white individual, and even more likely to have their concerns about their health addressed by a healthcare professional. If it weren't for the color of my skin, hair, and eyes, I honestly may not be standing here before you to tell this story. And there is something very wrong with that. Eating disorders may be geographically isolated. However, they are very common among the university population, as many studies have shown that over 90% of female university students practice some form of restrictive eating during their time at school. The effect of these harmful food-oriented rituals continues to escalate as social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook continue to emphasize the importance of being thin. Take Tinder, for example. A standout feature among our society has quite literally placed an equal sign between love and looks. Eating disorders are currently the leading cause of death among all mental illnesses. Yet, only 3 paragraphs of my 500-page first-year psychology textbook were dedicated to discussing this obviously serious topic. And I believe that our generation is finally starting to address some of these issues that many generations before us have just constantly swept under the rug. And I think eating disorders definitely needs to be one of them. So let's start talking about it. Let's start talking about how you are not alone and how this ugly voice named Ed doesn't classify who you are as a person. This is where I'm starting, right here at this TEDx conference, to talk about how we can destigmatize the word anorexia. Secondly, we need to make resources available on campus. I cannot begin to describe the frustration I've experienced trying to locate any psychologist, counselor, dietitian who is specialized in eating disorder prevention and relapse treatment. It's hard enough for many to admit that they need tools to help them on their journey to recovery, let alone when those tools are locked away in a steel box with a heavy-duty padlock. Something both you and I can do is work towards changing the dialogue and switching the narrative. Phrases such as pulling trig may just be that for some people, triggering. And the words like puking and rallying are more for some people than just another part of a fun Friday night out. And by us classifying these toxic tendencies as so normal, we are invalidating the daily struggles of someone battling their own Ed voice. The list of toxic terms doesn't stop there. And as I stand here before you today, trying to be open about something that I am still very ashamed of, I would like to ask all you to do one thing. Check in on your friends, your family, your loved ones. Without a solid support system, few things can be accomplished in terms of mending a wounded relationship with food and silencing the devilish voice of Ed. Even more importantly, we need to ask each other the tough questions and ask them regardless of your physical appearance. So, ask your loved ones and allow them to tell you. In many cases, simply providing support and encouragement can be the key to unlocking that recovery box and enabling so many to take those first few steps towards recovery that they may have been fearful of ever taking before. Thank you.